What's good, y'all, man? Welcome to Radiant Thoughts, a podcast dedicated to promoting positivity, personal growth, and the pursuit of a brighter mindset, man. So without further ado, let's tap into today's episode. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of Radiant Thoughts, and this is a special episode. As you can see, I'm not at the table. I'm on the couch with it, and I have a guest with me. So this is Miss Anaia Lachelle, teacher, singer, songwriter, actor. What else?
I guess I model.
All right. So I appreciate you sitting on the couch with me.
Of course.
So just to start, I know I've been knowing you for a minute now.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while now. So every time I see you, obviously now just talking, you got your smile going on. So it seems like you always, you upbeat.
Yeah.
So where does that come from? Like, where do you just always have that, or has it always been like that for you?
Yeah. I've always been very smiley and radiant. Radiant. No, I love social interaction. Okay. So especially, and I ain't seen you in years, so of course I'm just gonna be happy. So
for sure. So how you maintain that? Like, how do you keep that going? All the time.
The attitude? Oh, yeah. I don't have it all the time. Best believe, only God knows. But honestly, I just have a strong faith. So, if I do feel off, I give it to the Lord and then I proceed. So, and I got to remember and use gratitude and think about the stuff that I do have that I shouldn't be upset about. So that usually helps me too.
Yeah, I spoke about gratitude on had it actually dropped today.
Okay.
But episode I just released talking about how gratitude, how I use it, because it helps you once you give gratitude and it makes you feel good about yourself. Yes. So I kind of said use it selfishly almost, not that when you give gratitude, it shouldn't be just for that it
shouldn't be for a personal benefit.
Yeah, but you feel that, and I was like, you're gonna do things that make you feel good. So I rock with that for sure.
That's crazy. So we're teaching that at school right now. Each month they have a moral focus, virtue, and gratitude is our monthly virtue. Yeah.
So when you teaching, do you keep that same? Do you try to keep that same? Because I had some teachers that was
for sure. I think for the most part, I feel like I'm the same every day. And if I do have an off day, I tell my kids hey, yo, I'm a little irritated this morning, or I'm not feeling the best this morning, so bear with me. So at least they know and prepared to deal with whatever. Right. But usually I'll be fine.
Okay.
I'll be fine.
So we kind of skipped over that. So you teaching. So what age range?
I teach fourth grade. Math, science, and social studies.
Okay. So did you? I know your mom was in administration and stuff. So did you always want to teach? Was that something that was always on the agenda?
Yep. When I went to Arthur Eddie, I remember it was yesterday. I think was Tori in my class. I don't remember.
No, go to no Eddie.
No, she ain't go to Eddie. I'm thinking of probably Bethel or something. But I remember when I was 4, actually in preschool, and I had wrote that I wanted to be a teacher so I could be the boss. But at the time, my mom was also teaching at Eddie, and then she became the principal. So yeah, I honestly feel like it was always instilled in me because I've watched her for so long. So.
Okay, that's cool. So being around the younger kids, has it showed you anything about yourself in particular that you didn't know, or how does that been?
That's very yes, and I've been working with kids since I was 16. So before I was even teaching, I've always been in kids' faces. I learned about myself constantly through kids, whether if it's how I respond. I could respond a little rude. It should be like I had a kid tell me, that was kind of rude. I'm like, you're right. I'm sorry. And then taking accountability is a huge thing. A lot of teachers go through a power trip when they got this role where they just feel like they can control all these kids. But you learn a lot from kids, and you learn a lot about yourself. And so I try to take accountability. If I call the wrong person out for talking in line, oh, hey, sorry. You know what I'm saying? Just anything like that.
Just being accountable for what you do. Because I feel like that we don't get that a lot with
yes,
teaching,
and they model what they see. So
facts,
if they see somebody that's just tripping all the time, they're gonna be tripping all the time and think it's okay.
That's fact. So being you're a teacher, so you kind of have influence over how they may feel. How do you control, I guess, what how you may feel and what you give the students? Because you see a lot of times, I see on TikTok or on Instagram or someone teachers do certain things and they pick up on it, students pick up on it, or like influence from home into the school. So how do you try to navigate through what you show to the students?
The simplest answer is I meet them where they at. Okay. And like nowadays, especially since I'm young, they have the benefit of having a younger teacher. So that, like most of them, they all know I sing and stuff like that. Okay, so like, and then we in this TikTok social media era, you know what I'm saying? So I implement what I know that they probably be seeing on TikTok or whatever and try to utilize it in school to where like, oh yeah, I'm hip too. So then the personability that we have with each other, the relationship that we have, it grows because I'm meeting them where they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the best answer.
I feel like that's key because I always had teachers that was. I think I didn't have a young teacher till I got to college.
Literally same, so, like totally on two different sides of the spectrum.
It was always a disconnect.
Yes, and right.
So high school, it was kind of okay because I knew the people, but other than that, it was always a disconnect. So when it comes to being a teacher, and you got so many different attitudes and different personalities that you got to deal with. How do you maintain, dealing with those different personalities?
I have like a lot of kids who always are in my face. Okay. And I have to like remember that it's some that don't get in my face. So even if it's just hey, you good? Like I always check in with the ones that don't talk as much or whatever. I feel like really just little stuff like that, they remember. And so like, I had did a teacher evaluation not too long ago, like where I had passed out like a survey and they did a survey on me. And like the ones that I don't even talk to as much or don't have that super close relationship, they think I'm the best. They think, oh, she hates annoying kids. Like he wrote as my weakness, annoying kids and talking. Like, like, so I don't know. I try not to be in everybody face too much, especially because it's still like an aspect of meeting them where they are. So if they're not the type to get in my face, I'm gonna leave them where they at, but still reassure them that I'm there for them too.
So I seen you post not too long ago. I think you said a kid. I want to say it was a student text you about praying with him.
Oh yes, so, yes,
Like when it comes to
we pray in my room.
That's what's up. That's what's up for sure. And so it seems like you got like a real good connection with the kids. So how do you keep it like friendly, but keep it like you the teacher at the same time?
That's a very good question because half of my kids knew me already from last year. I was the assistant teacher last year, so some of them already got that relationship with me. And I think the best way to put it is just being present, really, like just showing up. Like a lot of kids, like you can tell that there's a dynamic between when they at school and when they at home. Right. And a lot of them bring their baggage from home, and I just kind of remind them like, hey, like I'm not your friend, but at the same time, if you respect me as your teacher, we can have that balance where I can take off my teacher coat sometimes and I'll really sit down and tell you the real deal. So like I remind them like, hey, I'm your teacher first. But if they need anything, I'm myself regardless, and I think that's what they respect. Okay,
so like with them bringing their baggage in, and so knowing that y'all have that connection, how does that affect you? Because some kids at home, it was
hard.
It's hard. Bad lifestyle,
and I'm a very empathetic person, so the second I hear about something going on with like a kid of mine or whatever, I instantly want to insert myself in it, and it's hard. So that's why I did like give that kid my number, just so like that person always feels safe knowing like, hey, I can take Miss Hawkins if I instantly need something. Right. So I try not to get myself too involved in it, but still reaffirming them that I'm present at the same time.
Okay. Yeah. So with like how TikTok, you mentioned TikTok and how they see that kids, kids always on TikTok nowadays. So like they see how the teacher kid interactions are. So with that, so sometimes when I see them, I like some of the interactions I see.
And some of them ain't always appropriate.
And so like, how do you feel about those, like having those interactions with kids? Because sometimes I feel like, do we really need to be posting these kids and what they do?
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, me personally, like, teach his own.
Yeah.
Some schools and districts really don't care. They don't care. Me, I don't want to overshare too much because of course not every kid is on TikTok. Not every kid really care about that. I got a kid who stay in a book. He reading constantly. Got stacks of books on his desk. He reading constantly. So I know he don't be on no TikTok. Like there's a certain one that I think of where like the teacher, like her attention grabber is like a song. It's apart from that Sexy Red song.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't do that because I don't want them to all know that song. And if somebody that don't know it that's in there, they gonna know about it now. So like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it ain't for me.
You know, they gonna take that home. The teacher gonna, your parents gonna ask what you learned today.
Because that's also, you know what I'm saying, and that's not always enabling them.
Yeah,
you know, like that is enabling them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, okay, well they listening to Sexy Red. Well, I guess I'll just get on it too, and that's gonna be the way that they be quiet. No, for me that ain't for me.
Yeah, so I wanted to touch on that too. Just with the music aspect of it, and being that you're a teacher also, so you're dealing with younger kids and stuff. So when I see that a teacher is playing, there's always some reason I always see the Sexy Red song.
No, like for real, that's the first one I think about every time.
And so with you being an artist as well, when you make your music, and now being you've been working with students, but do you think about how it might like affect the kids, and what do you like? What is your thought process behind that when you are creating? Because as an artist, you're doing your art.
Yes,
this is from you.
Yeah,
you don't necessarily think what other people may care about. Yeah, but I think at a certain time we should be kind of conscious of what we're putting out. Yeah. So like, how do you navigate that?
Well, I've always been very intentional about like what I talk about, what I write about, the diction that I'm putting in lyrics and stuff like that. I don't want to come off as too open, explicit, nothing like that. So I already got that personal preference for myself anyway. But me being a teacher, I mean, it don't really change much because some of their parents know that I sing. Some of them have heard songs I done been on when I was 17, 18. So like at the same time, it really don't matter. But I am intentional about presenting it the right way and delivering it still in a positive way, so where like they can't go out and say like, oh, my teacher was in this video and she had on lingerie and yada yada. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm very intentional about stuff like that because I personally ain't ready for that yet myself. So
gotcha. So like with music in general, so like besides like the teaching aspect, do you feel like artists should be a lot more intentional with what they put out, like a lot, because a lot of the songs, and it's always a conversation about it on Twitter or whatever, and like, and you get both sides of it. Some people say I should be able to say what I want, which you can. You got freedom of speech. Yeah. And I think I seen the Cardi B thing when she said she don't let her daughter listen to certain songs, and then so people are like, so why would you make it if your daughter can't listen to it? And then so like I kind of straddle the fence with it because
that's a hard argument.
It's on the parent, I feel like, to keep it from ultimately, but at the same time, if certain people, and you hear how they talk and they are like pro culture and pro like the black people or whatever, but what you put in your music is degrading or demeaning. So like how do you feel about when like you hear something like that and they just kind of, I guess, still create the music?
Yeah, it's kind of hypocritical in a sense. That's hard. People are entitled to say what they want, right? And a lot of people were not raised the same. Right. You know what I'm saying? I was raised to be very careful with how I speak. Facts. Some people are not raised like that. So she probably wasn't raised like that. You know what I'm saying? So like I feel like her specifically, like let me just speak on that. Like her specifically being a new mom, like that makes sense why she don't want her daughter to listen to that stuff, because it probably wasn't the same intent when she was her daughter or whatever. Gotcha. So that same protection wasn't probably given to her, so that's probably why it's probably different. And she still probably got a lot of stuff to get off her chest. She done went through a lot of stuff. But me personally, I just wouldn't. If I'm gonna preach it, I'm gonna practice it too. And so I'm gonna just.
I feel like my mom was like that. So anything that she might have dealt with, she like, nah, I don't want y'all to, and she still get on me and my brother head because like, all right, I done been through what y'all going through, so like let me help. And so I feel like with the music aspect of it, a lot of people kind of don't practice what they preach. So and I think that's why I like what you said about being with the kids. You're real intentional, even though that you were already like intentional beforehand. But I think that's good. So since we're talking about music, what made you like start singing? Like where did that come from?
The first like memory I have is I remember like my mom or no, my stepdad actually would like have me sing to him. Um, and that I found out that I could carry a tune when I was like 4. My mom used to put me in talent shows. Yeah, my mama put me in my first talent show when I was 4. I sang "Who Can I Run To" by Escape.
That's a jam for sure.
At 4, that was so funny.
That's crazy.
At Arthur Eddy, and then I sang Mary J. Blige when I was 5.
That's my dog right there.
But once you okay? But once I stopped, or once I did them first 2 talent shows, I was introduced to dancing, and so I kind of put singing on the back burner. But I was always writing music, even if I wasn't singing. And then I just noticed like, oh, singing has never really faded away, so maybe I'm meant to do it. And so I pray about it a lot. I practice. I was practicing my autograph when I was 8 years old. And so
you just learned cursive.
I swear, just learned cursive in 3rd grade. They don't even teach that no more.
They don't even teach cursive no more. That's crazy.
But I had learned what I practice all the time on my downtime, just practicing. I wrote my first song when I was 8. And then once I moved to Kalamazoo, I just felt like, okay, maybe this is the start where I can actually, because in Saginaw I wasn't singing that much. And so like once I moved to Kalamazoo, I just felt like, okay, maybe this is the time where I can really start and try to find my own sound and stuff. So, and then I started at 16. So
how was that move to Kalamazoo? Because when you moved, like 7th or 8th grade?
Yep, it was the summer of our 8th grade year. So yep, when I was 13. I didn't like it, honestly. It took a lot of adjusting, because I'm real close to a lot of people in Saginaw. And I was ready to become a Trojan. I wanted to be a Trojanette.
Trojanette. Huh?
I wanted to be a Trojanette so effing bad. Shout out to Taylor, because Taylor was like Taylor and Kayla McMillan. They was like my big sisters. I wanted to be Trojanettes just like them. So bad. I was so mad, like mostly about that. Damn, I can't do it with the band. I was so mad. But it was cool though. I'm very thankful for the move because I've seen and I've grown a lot. And I probably would not have had the same growth if I was still in Saginaw. Saginaw is very restricted and small, and everybody really fighting to survive up in Saginaw. I felt like if I still stayed in Saginaw and I went to Saginaw High, I probably would have been in my first fight already. I didn't, probably would have gotten to a bunch of drama. So compared to moving, I think it probably saved me in a lot of ways.
I feel that for sure. And I noticed that just from now, I went from being in Saginaw once I went to college in Pontiac, which Pontiac still kind of
but it ain't right, but it ain't.
But it ain't, And so I noticed, I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more free, and I don't know nobody every time I step out my door. And then I came out here, it just was like
totally.
It's like almost white and black, almost, and so I feel that for sure because. It's a whole different environment out here, so it seems like a lot better,
and I definitely don't complain.
High school for sure.
For sure. It was cool. Yep, I started in 8th grade, so when I got here.
Okay, so when it comes to creating music for you, what does what is your mindset going into getting into the studio?
My writing process is based on reflection. So I don't like to write when I'm in the moment, when I'm heated, when I'm sad, crying. I don't like to write when I'm in that space for some reason. And I don't know. I feel like I put out my best work when I'm not worked up. Like from a place of after I felt all those things. Like because I like to sit with my emotions. I don't want to be doing nothing else if I'm sad or mad. I don't want to do nothing else unless I'm praying or I'm writing my journal down or whatever. And then, once I've sat with that stuff, once I've processed how I'm feeling and why I'm feeling the way that I do, then I'm going to write about it because then I'm writing from a place where I've already experienced it. Like I'm looking at myself and I'm looking down at myself. So, but when I go to the studio, it's very funny. It's a hilarious time. I'm actually going to go there when I leave here. So it's going to be very funny.
So I think I understand that, being just clear and focused and all right, I dealt with it. Kind of what I learned from it, because when you're writing from just say anger, you're just angry, and then you mad and you probably didn't process something clearly, and now you're writing about something that maybe was different.
And then I'm gonna have to go back and probably revise it, and then just touching back on being intentional when I write. I don't want to write about everything because I'm a transparent person, but I ain't open like that. You know what I'm saying? I like to write about just as much to where you can get some type of consensus about me, but I'm not saying too much about my business. Right.
So you say you're real intentional with doing it. So when you make certain songs, is it all right, this song is going to be specifically about this? Because nowadays I hear a lot of songs where it just kind of jump all over the place, don't have no certain theme. So how do you go about doing that?
I feel like my songs got structure. I know if it's falling into a downward spiral, or I know if it's like, okay, this lyric don't make sense, or this verse don't really got nothing to do with what I just said, then I'm definitely gonna go back and make sure it all makes sense. I feel like I have a habit of writing songs that are strictly sticking to whatever the subject matter is. So I feel like it's pretty easy for me because I monitor how I think when I'm writing.
So with when you're writing or like creating music or anything, are there times where you just kind of get like discouraged or you get like brain farts and stuff and you just don't know? So how do you maneuver through that and get back, like get out that slump?
I tell my friends all the time, like my other musical friends, like if you have writer's block, take a break. Like I take that as God telling me, okay, you too worked up, take a break. Like I'm not gonna stress about it no more. And I used to stress about stuff real hard. Like if I can't, why can't I do it? But like I'm gonna just take a break. I'm gonna just sit with, okay, I'll try again tomorrow, or I'll try again in an hour. I don't force myself to do nothing no more. Nothing.
Because once you start forcing it,
it don't come out organic. It ain't genuine. You're gonna have to go back and revise something. Like I always know this. After I've forced myself to write a song, I don't like it. So I'm not doing that. Yeah, I just take my time.
And so you mentioned having, music friends. So how important is it to have the certain like people around you that
it's mad important. It's mad important. I make more friends about a year. And I wasn't so used to having a musical group of friends until last year after I dropped my first album. But now I stick to the same 4-5 people. Like we call each other the dream team because we really don't play. Like we write, we make beats together. We sing and like we go through ideas together and stuff just within our own little circle. I feel like it's super important because not everybody knows music like you do or they do, and like everybody in our team we all still developing, but we all on different levels. You know what I'm saying? Like one of my friends, he's toured with Eric Bellinger, Sammy. He met Carrie Hilston. He's met several people, but he still live in Kalamazoo. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we all on the same level, but we all have seen and learned so many different things, and we learn from each other.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're able to bounce stuff.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to criticize music makers, but don't know music for real. You know what I'm saying? They don't know the process of it. And I'm fully transparent about the fact that I wasn't trained to be no singer. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have been singing all their damn life. That was not for me. So I know I got a lot of more room to grow, and that's where I seek them for sometimes. So yeah, it's just okay.
So do they help you? Like you feel like they help you be more creative when you are making music?
Yeah. Okay, if I'm stuck, like because like I used to suck at like harmonizing ad libs, like because like I said, I wasn't born to do this for real. Like I don't like if you tell me to sing the key of G, what is that? I don't know what that is.
I sure know.
You know what I'm saying?
I know what the key of G.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know my musical scales, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So like I'm really just I'm working with what I got.
Right.
So I feel like it's very important to have people around you because they can, and I'm the type to not take nobody to the studio with me. But since I go to the same people all the time, they are all just, now you're at the studio, let's all go over there. Yeah.
Meet up type of thing.
Yeah.
So I know you dropped, was that Girl's Perspective last year. And so, and it's been, I know you just released the single, which go stream her single.
Lay it out.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Do you prefer, I know a lot of people put like a lot of music out, they just push music out instead of like having good quality music. So what do you prefer? Because I know you dropped that last year and now you just now coming back out with singles. So how do you like
how do I prefer
to release?
I feel like I honestly feel like I'm gonna be like one of them, like Sade or like even like Andre 3000, where they only drop music when they feel like it's time to drop something.
Or drop a flute album.
I know, but like he's had so many gaps between his albums, and like very strategic and mindful about when they release. Like Sade literally says she don't drop music unless she feel inspired to drop music. She ain't just finna do it for no reason. I personally feel like. If you got it in you, great. Because I know some people that can sit at the studio all day and drop a song every week. Personally, that ain't for me. I don't always got something to talk about all the time. I can write from whatever standpoint. I can write for anybody, I feel like. But for me specifically, I want to make sure that I'm writing with purpose and I'm dropping with purpose. I would rather wait a year to drop another album, which I am, because I ain't dropping my album till spring. But like, I would rather be very strategic and intentional about what I'm doing. If it sound good to me,
Right.
if it's, you know, diverse, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like my first album was a safe album. Like, it wasn't too much. It was just like enough to be like, oh, okay, like she a little, okay, I'm excited to see what she got going on. Like, so I don't know. But my second one is a total step up. I'm very excited for that one.
I can't wait for it.
Yeah.
So for like, let's say for it, like, you know, aspiring artists, and you know, we live in a, you know, TikTok world where you put your song on TikTok and try to get to blow up, or you try to put so many singles out.
I hate it. I do.
You try to get,
it's not for me.
Yeah, so many songs and stuff to try. It's like people releasing a lot of singles.
It's competition.
Yeah,
it is.
So for aspiring artists that see that, how would you tell them or to like navigate that if they are like how you are?
I would tell them, do what works for you. Just simply do what works for you. Do not follow no crowd. Follow faith. You know what I'm saying? I feel like this internet world is not for everybody. Some people can do it, some people can't. I'm one of them people that can't. I hate it. I just now made a TikTok like a few months ago, and I don't like it. I will post and then get off of it. I don't like none of it. Like, and if it wasn't for music, I would not have no social media at all. Probably at all.
That's crazy.
Because this is the only way that I could try to get some recognition. That's the only reason why I got it.
Why wouldn't you? Why you think you wouldn't have? Is like just distraction wise?
I hate it. I hate being on my phone. Like, I notice when I've been on my phone for too long, like, you get on your phone when you're bored, you get on your phone to distract yourself, you get on your phone just to consume some BS. I get so tired of being on my phone. Facts. So I truly feel like I wouldn't have it, and I want to just be off the face of the earth because I don't want nobody knowing what I'm doing.
That's kind of how I've been. Like, you know, you got the setting on your phone, the screen time.
Yes,
stuff,
me too.
You can block the. I forgot. I think I might have. Which I'm driving, so I'm never really on my phone too much. But I put the setting. I think it's like I get like 10 minutes on each app per day is what I try to do, and I find myself.
Yeah, like remind me in 15 minutes.
Yeah,
one more minute.
One more minute. Which I try not to do, but mainly because like
too.
I'm on Instagram.
Yeah,
and that's the Instagram. YouTube, I don't got no. You know, because I just drive.
Same, right.
But like Instagram, I think I got like 30 minutes. And so, and then I get on there and I realize I'm just consuming. You're just
bored. Like, you're bored. Like, I get so tired of that.
And so, like, I try to feel that, you know, dead time where I think about grabbing my phone to go grab a book or something. And like, I've started reading a lot.
Good, me too.
Lately. So, so you've been reading a lot lately. So, do you look at like literature and stuff for inspiration for music at all, or like does that?
No,
or you just read just to.
I only read like self-development, mastery books. I'm not a fan of fiction, nonfiction. You know, like stories is cool, but I personally don't care to read no story about some random stuff or no fantasy stuff. I like to read intentionally. I only want to read to better myself. And so like I've been reading this one book called The Act of God by John Bevere, and it's just about like having holy fear, and how that will, you know, like when people say like, you know, when you have more knowledge about the Bible or God in general, like you have more confidence because you don't seek validation from man. You know what I'm saying? You only seek it from him. So I've been trying to be more intentional in that sense. So when I read, it's only to better me or whatever, or to learn about something.
Yeah, that's been me a lot lately. Like we got a bookshelf in the room, and all my books are in the truck.
I got bookshelves all over my house. Like I got like this Amazon shelf thing, and it's like 5 books on this one, 5 books on that one. So it's books everywhere.
Yeah, this has been kind of like a new thing for me within like the last year-ish or so. And me and her just been reading books, having like getting books, reading them. Like if you look at my YouTube, the only thing that will be outside of like self-development or like financial literacy stuff is like I watch a basketball podcast.
Okay.
And it's a football podcast too, but like that's it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I just.
You would love Tony Gaskins on YouTube. Gaskins. Yes. Okay. I watch him probably at least once a day, all the time.
What do you like?
He talk about everything. You know, he a man of God, but he mainly talks about like relationships. He talk about men, women, social media era. He speak about, you know, certain current events or whatever, but like his mind frame is addicting. Addicting. I'm gonna send you one when I leave.
You gotta send it to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been on the whole self-improvement. So that's what this podcast is kind of centered around. I wanted to do certain things and give people certain tangible things that they can take and apply to their life. 'Cause that's how I was using the books, you know. And I read somewhere it was like, you might not remember 90% of the stuff that you read in the book, but it's just that one thing that you see
that's gonna
you
stick
take
out
that and apply it to your life. And like every book that I read, like I write notes. I used to highlight in them, but Tori got mad.
I highlight like a mug. So, get your own book. I'm highlighting.
I was buying 2 books. She's like, we can just buy one, but I'm like, I'm highlighting. I'm writing
notes.
So, but I start writing notes separately, which actually started helping me more because I would highlight and then I kind of would forget.
Right, what you're highlighting, right. Yeah, and when you write scientifically, it retains better in your head.
Yeah, so I started writing notes, and then after each chapter, I would write all the notes, and I would write a summary of the notes that I got just to make sure I got, the gist of the chapter. And so what I would do with that, like, okay, with this book, I'm going to take this and apply it to my life and see how it affects me and what I'm going to do. And so that's been key for me lately. So what books have you been reading, or what books do you recommend to people that are trying to self-improve?
Oh, The Seat of the Soul by I believe his name is George Zukov. I love that one. I believe it's Four Agreements.
That's my,
Miguel
like,
Ruiz
one.
Jr. Senior. Yep. And there's also another one though that was written by his son. I feel like, is it the 3 or the 5?
The Fifth Agreement,
something like that. That I read by his son.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get that.
But definitely the Awe of God. I need to get some Tony Gaskins books. In the Bible. Duh.
Yeah, right there. That's the main
my first one. The Bible.
That's what's up though. So what habits or anything that you, which I got my shirt on. Habits.
Love that for you. Yeah. Love that for you.
So what habits did with teaching and music and just being you said you danced, and so taken from all that, what habits do you feel like you had to develop that translated throughout both like fields?
Definitely going to the gym.
I
go to the gym like a mother trucker. Okay. I don't post every time I go to the gym because then you would get tired of me going to the gym. But I go to the gym a lot, and routine matters a lot to me. Waking up early, honestly, is like an instant for me. I don't care if I got a day off of work. I don't even remember the last time I slept in for real. Like, unless I stayed up all night. Otherwise, I don't sleep in. I try to wake up early. I start my day with God, and then I wanna stretch. I wanna go to the gym. I wanna eat. But I feel like the most important balance for me is just making sure I journal still. I pray. I devote. And I still try to make time to be around people that I care about, because I can get very easily consumed with everything that I do to where I just want to be in my own little sequestered box. So, for sure, mostly that stuff.
I feel like I find myself doing that like a lot with just feeling like I need to do something, and like I will wake up and like when I have dead time where I'm not doing something, like, okay, what I need to do. And so I try to keep my mind just
when I'm not productive, I feel lazy.
And I had to realize, I just watched an episode of this podcast. I watched the Social Proof podcast, and they were discussing how sometimes you need to just have fun,
be still, and have
and so and we always moving, and we feel like, okay, I gotta be doing this. I gotta be doing this. I gotta be doing this. If I'm not doing this, then I'm falling behind.
Right.
And so I had to find that balance to where, like, okay, you might get burnt out, so like you gotta find a reprieve and sit back. And so that was key for me. That's one of the things I think I just watched that yesterday.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I'm definitely gonna implement that, because I've just been so, all right, improve, and to where
especially Black men.
it can get tiresome. So when you spoke on routine, and like, do you have like a routine when it comes to creating your music? Is that like, or you just kind of just go with it?
Honestly, that's probably the one thing in my life that probably don't got a routine is music. But I feel like it makes sense, because that is my time to be free. That is my escape. So I don't want to schedule a time to do anything that's music related unless it's going to the studio or booking a shoot or whatever the case may be. Of course, that stuff needs structure, but I don't try to force, because then I look at it as forcing myself. Or okay, I'm gonna say every day for an hour I'm gonna write a song. I don't know if it's gonna always get done. I don't know if I'm gonna feel like doing it. So I don't try to set a precedent time when it comes to music.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. So in closing, I don't got too many more questions.
Okay, that's fine.
So.
That's fine.
I appreciate you, coming on the pod. My first interview episode, so I appreciate it. So thank you.
Love that for me.
So is there anything you'd like to plug,
Yes, Stream a Girl's Perspective on all platforms. That's my debut album. Please stream Lay It Out, the newest single that drops on the 13th. And all of my socials is Anaia Lachelle, ANAIA_LACHLLE.
So appreciate you for coming. Thank y'all for tapping in. This can be found on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, of course. Go to the Instagram, Radiant Thoughts _ for the daily motivation, the podcast episodes, all that good stuff. But this has been another episode of Radiant Thoughts, and it's a wrap. Peace. Thank you.
Of course.
This was good. I like this.
Yeah, love that for us.